Good morning, everybody. This is Carl Dakin, and this is my Successful Funding Show. This is where we talk about primarily funding for early stage companies, startups, and moving into growth, where we find that a lot of the information out there is magical, mythical, and not very real world realistic. So we're going to be talking about that today, and we haven't done this show in almost 6 months. And to kick off the restart of the show, I thought I'd bring back a person who's been a guest before and who's one of my heroes. And I'm going to talk about him in glowing, praiseworthy phrases throughout the entire show today. So, just hang on to your chair and we'll see where this goes to. But this is Devin Thorpe. He's the founder of SuperCrowd. And we're going to be talking about Devin, SuperCrowd, his next event coming up in August, SuperCrowd26, and a brand new feature of SuperCrowd26, which is the Purpose-Built 100. So we have lots of things to talk about today. I'm very much looking forward to it. But before I let Devin say anything, I want to make a few distinctive observations about Devin. Everybody today talks about thought leaders, and clearly Devin is a thought leader. He's got out there as an advocate for impact investing, for Reg CF investing, all good things. But I don't want to stop there because I am tired of people who are just thought leaders, draw the line. They don't do any more than that. They're talkers. And there's a need for advocates. There's a need for people to get out there and bang the drum. But I like action figures. And I want Devin to know that I view him as an action figure, somebody who gets stuff done. So since he started Super Crowd a number of years ago, he's done all kinds of things. He's built an audience, a fan base. He's been out experimenting with things. He's constantly trying to make stuff happen. And I wanted to express here that I appreciate that because I think it's so important for people to get out there and do something and figure out how to make things happen. And sometimes they work and sometimes they don't, but you just keep going. So, Devin, thank you for that. Thank you for being on the show this morning. And just to start off, why don't you share with everybody a little bit about who you are and your background? So those who don't know you should understand why you're famous and becoming more so every day.
Carl, thank you. And thank you for inviting me to be on the show. Thank you for all the kind words. Let me say, Carl, that I consider you a role model and a dear friend. I look up to you tremendously because I can think of specific, identifiable things I've learned from you over the years. And one of the key things that I continue to teach and preach that I learned from you, and I always try to remember to give you credit for it when I teach and preach this, but is this principle of incorporating into Reg CF offerings consumer rewards that are not tied in that allow for a literal consumer benefit wherever possible. And I think that is just genius. It's just genius. And that comes from your years and depth of experience and the value you've been bringing to your clients for many years. And I'm grateful for that. I recognize that, especially within your community in Colorado and growing nationally, you've been a tremendous influence and helped a lot of people. You helped create the crowdfunding law in Colorado, the interest rate crowdfunding law, and built portals you've been a player for a long time, making cool things happen. I congratulate you. I look up to you, and I'm grateful for you. And thank you very much for having me today. So you asked me to tell folks a little bit about myself. I think it's a little bit important to frame my work today at the Super Crowd in the context of my earlier career. This is really my second career. I started this work, broadly speaking, about 15 years ago. But that was when I left career number one in corporate finance, where I had been the CFO of one of the largest companies on the Inc. 500 list, a global food and beverage company. I had run my own investment banking firm. This was a FINRA registered, SEC member, firm that was operated as a genuine investment bank in Salt Lake City years ago. And that was a key thing. I was the treasurer of a public company that also did business globally. And so in those career opportunities, I traveled all around the developed world, helping to set up banking and infrastructure. In my new job, I've traveled around the world looking at social impact opportunities, which means instead of traveling to places like London, I've traveled to places like Angola and Kenya, Pakistan, Cambodia, India, right? So it's been a very different career path, but I have really cherished all these experiences. I'm grateful for them, and come today thrilled about crowdfunding. Just to set the stage for our conversation. You talk about impact crowdfunding, and I make maybe the mistake of talking about impact crowdfunding as if it were a distinct thing. And I was looking just the other day. I pulled up the King's Crowd data just as an independent reference. I've got my own database now tracking exactly the same data. I could have used mine, but I didn't want to quote myself. So I pulled up the King's Crowd data. And out of 323 deals, we were able to identify very quickly an impact investment thesis for 211 of the 323 live offerings. So about 2/3 of the offerings had an impact thesis to it. And what that tells me is that crowdfunding and impact investing via crowdfunding really are the same thing, right? You have to try not to have a good impact on the world with crowdfund investing, because the market is sort of self-selecting, because humans want to see the world improve. They want to see the world change. And that's what compels them more than the financial rewards. And so it's great to see.
Let's take a bit of a break there and break this down a little bit. So first off, not everybody knows what impact investing is. So I constantly have to stop myself, even in this show, and say, here's a educational moment that we're going to throw into the mix. And then I've got some more questions for you to follow this trend. So impact investing is a term that's used when somebody may put purpose ahead of profit, meaning that a lot of investment, almost everything you read in the news and everywhere else, all talks about getting rich, getting richer, getting more money, making money, making money. And then at some point, people go, well, if all you do is focus on making money, you actually may accomplish that goal, but you might be causing harm or not doing as much as you could elsewhere. And then somebody, maybe you, came up with the idea that you could make your investments do two things. It can have impact and it can make money at the same time. And a lot of people have been confused about this, and we're not going to clear up all that issue today. But the ability to make your investment do social good, to help your community advance a social cause, maybe cure a cancer or do something else good, that makes it an impact investment. And you may do it where you put the profits equal to purpose, purpose slightly ahead of profits, or purpose totally ahead of profits. That's up to you as an individual. And that's one of the things we're going to talk about a little bit more in a moment, which is individuality of the investor. But one of the things that we're also talking about is investment crowdfunding. And this was a law that was passed in 2012 under the Jobs Act by the federal Congress. And it was a revolution in thinking, not necessarily in practice yet, but in thinking that everyone should have an opportunity to invest in the businesses of their choice. And up till that point in time, all the laws had kind of come together in a bad fashion and said, if you're rich, you can invest. And if you're not rich, we're going to make you jump through so many hoops. You don't want to do it. It's impractical. It's painful. It's a nuisance. It's annoying. And they didn't do it. And then practically people would design things that you couldn't invest in, even if they wanted you to, because they'd set the bar too high. They'd say, well, minimum investment's $50,000. Well, the average person doesn't have $50,000, so they weren't going to invest. So they made this law change, and it's really incredible, and we have not seen anything yet, in my mind. The original projection was you might see as much as 10% of the money on Wall Street go into investment crowdfunding. That's still my goal, even though it may be beyond my lifetime at this point, but I would like to see that happen. But one of the things that Devin has taught me, going to share back, is that it's possible for you to make crowdfunding investments with impact on a regular basis and meet or beat Wall Street returns. Devin teaches courses on this. He explains all the true hidden costs that don't often show up on your commission sheet when you buy a stock through a broker, and all the other things that go along with that. And I have tried to implement this plan where once a month I will find a business that's raising money through investment crowdfunding, as Devin has taught me, and I'll make a small dollar investment. It might be $100, it might be a few $100s. It's never much more than that. But what I'm doing is I'm creating my own savings account, like a passbook savings account. And I'm building this repertoire, this portfolio of businesses. And some of them are hanging in there pretty good. One of them, Ethereum, if I pronounced that correctly, is going to be one of the PurposeBuilt100 companies. And I'm really pleased to see their continuing progress. And the reports I get, it makes me feel a little bit wiser every time I get a report from one of the companies I've invested in, like I did a good pick. But one distinction that I would like to ask you about, Devin, on this is that there's the term that getting rich and building wealth. And I think it's a distinction that is important for people, because a lot of people come into investment crowdfunding with this thing in their head that I'm going to put in $100 and somehow that's going to make me rich. And it's highly unlikely, statistically unlikely, and I deal in statistics. But it can make you wealthy over time using your method. And I'd like you to kind of expound on that a little bit, Devin, about the difference between getting rich on a single stock and getting wealthy through a managed investment strategy over time.
Yeah, well, thank you, Carl. And I really am a firm believer in this. And I want to put kind of the beginning a little bit on this. The key to making this work is due diligence. And we'll talk about that more today, I'm sure. But if you turn that key and make the kind of strategy you're using, where you put a little bit in each month, you build a portfolio just like your stock portfolio. And over time, those investments sit there. Now, I am at a certain stage of life where I find I'm interested in getting the money back with interest. I also find that, as crazy as it seems, and at first blush, it seems to a lot of people to be counterintuitive, but lending money to a tiny business is often more profitable than investing in the equity of a startup. And you say, well, how could I possibly make more money investing in a food truck that will only ever be a food truck? than I could make in a startup. Well, if that food truck is paying you 12.5% interest and they make every payment, uh, that's a pretty good return. Because in the stock market, you'd be lucky, to get 10% over the long haul. And people look in the stock market and they think, they look and they see stories of Tesla and they say, well, you can make a fortune in the stock market because I could have invested in Tesla in 2012 or whatever, and I could have, I would have made 1,000-fold. Well, yes, that's true. Very, very few people did that. And the performance of the stock market includes Tesla and assumes you had a little bit of money in Tesla, and still the return is 10%. If you happen to build a portfolio that excluded Tesla, you didn't get 10%, trust me, over the last 20 years. So the reality is really challenging. It's hard to get 10%. And most individuals that are managing their own stock portfolio are lucky to get half that. That's the reality, right? If you're choosing your own stocks and trading, you just make mistakes. You're just not perfect. You're just not getting market returns. Now, you'll have a year, right, where you had a 30% return. That doesn't mean your annual return over time is 30%. You had a good year. Congratulations. So crowdfunding. So building a portfolio approach that includes debt and equity investments, where your debt investments are averaging 10, 11%. I really think there is very much the possibility to not only match the stock market returns, but do it in a way where the risk is pretty darn comparable. Pretty darn comparable. If you've got cash flow coming back to you every month from your debt investments, it's pretty hard to feel like you're not getting liquidity. Yeah, you can't sell your food truck loan to someone else very easily. I'll grant you that. But if the food truck is making payments every month, how badly do you need to sell it, right? You're getting cash. So yes, you can build a portfolio. Of course, there is always that temptation to go big on a deal you get excited about and let that be the anchor in your portfolio. And the reality is, I want to be careful not to reveal identity, but I was talking to a company yesterday, an entrepreneur, really liked the guy, liked the business. I think he's going to do well. I think it would be a good investment. But in fact, I can see how it would be the kind of deal, in fact, where some people might say, oh, wow, I'm going to go all in on this one, right? And they're going to take, chips off the other table and bring them over to this deal, right? I'm gonna sell my position in my mutual fund and buy. Well, groovy. What if it doesn't work, right? This has a potential of being a unicorn. Yeah, it does. Genuinely does. I'm excited about that potential. It also has the potential to be $0, worth $0 in 24 months. And which of those two scenarios is more likely? It's the $0 scenario, right? So you have to be really careful. You have to recognize that if you overweight a deal, you are leaving the world of investing and building a portfolio and skating cautiously, maybe not very cautiously, into the world of gambling, right? And
Totally.
that's
Yes.
not smart portfolio building. So that would be my take, Carl, on your question.
Yeah, no, it's something that I like to get across to people. They look at $100 investment, a couple $100, even $1,000 investment, And I keep telling them, I said, this one investment is not going to make you rich. What can make you wealthy, though, meaning that you have a retirement fund and you can buy maybe that second house or put your kids through college, is a systemic, methodical, plotting type of thing, as just like a passbook savings account, except you have a better potential rate of return by investing in local businesses. And then this takes you back to your earlier comment that investment crowdfunding almost inherently, by its very nature, is impactful. Because if you invest in a business, it's one thing, but giving everybody, democratizing the capital industry, the opportunity to invest in that business is, in my mind, impactful. We've said the door is not closed now to 97% of the population due to the accredited investor rule that the SEC can never seem to overcome its own lack of momentum on. And it's now open to everybody. Everybody can invest. And yeah, not everybody thinks of themselves as an investor. It's something I tell people all the time. They don't get up in the morning. They don't open the online link to King's Crowd or to your website and go, hey, look what I'm going to invest in today. That's not where their day is going to go. But when they do make an investment, there is an opportunity to do that. When they have some money that is, for that purpose, instead of saying the only choice I have is Wall Street or maybe something like a big real estate project, they can now make a small dollar investment in a local business, which creates another purpose. Is if you invest in a business in your local community, then you're helping that business. That business creates jobs. Those jobs pay taxes. Guess what? You're getting a benefit from that. It's the indirect benefit of investing in a local business that you'll never see with a Wall Street stock unless it turns out that Wall Street stock happens to be headquartered in your backyard. If it's in Chicago and I'm in Colorado, it doesn't do me any good. But if it happens to be like the company I was talking with in Golden, Colorado yesterday, where they've grown 25% in revenue this year, they're hiring more people. More people is good for the state because they're sharing the same taxes I pay. That's a good thing. They're hiring people. So if I have somebody who needs a job, I can go, you should go talk to them. They're growing, they're hiring. And all this means they're also purchasing stuff. They're buying stuff from vendors and suppliers. They're putting things into the economy. They're moving, things are happening. That's all good. That's all impactful. And it's one of the things I admonish most of the people I advise when they're out raising funding. I said, what portion of your PPM, of your offering memorandum, speaks to the impact of the success of your business? Because invariably there's nothing there. It's like ghosted. And I go, how many jobs are you going to create this year? How many tax dollars are you going to pay this year? How many social causes you're going to advance? How many charities you're going to support? That should all be in your PPM because that shows who you are, what you are, and it gives me one more reason to trust you over the person next to you who seems to be all about themselves, totally involved in their own whatever their own legacy is going to be. I don't care about that. I like the people who help their community. I like the people who contribute and do it intentionally, willfully, methodically, and going forward. So yes, I think investment crowdfunding and impact investing are, basically joined at the hip. That's a good thing. And I want to see more of it. And so since I want to see more of it, tell us about SuperCrowd26.
Yeah, we're excited. We have been doing our Super Crowd events now. This will be our fifth annual event, and we're excited about it. It's this year it will be a 3-day event, August 25th through 27th. It's coming right up. I mean, my gosh, it's it's a month from right now, this minute, right? Well, no, it's less than a month because today's the 29th.
Yeah. I'm trying to get ready. So
we have to stop. I got to go plan. I got work to do. Yeah, no, but it is exciting. We have about 80 speakers on the program. We are going to be doing a live pitch event at the event. I'm excited about that. We've got the application window for the live pitch closes in about 48 hours. So that deadline is approaching rapidly, but we've got some great applications already in, and really excited about the caliber of the companies that have applied. We've got some great companies in the mix this time, and that's looking good. But we'll have some amazing speakers on the program. Ron Miller, founder of Start Engine, has been one of our regular speakers at SuperCrowd events, and he will be back this time. Start Engine is also on the PurposeBuilt 100 list. We'll talk about that, I'm sure, in a minute. But we've got a lot of great speakers. Jenny Casson, who helped get the Jobs Act passed, and is one of the most respected voices in the industry. She will be speaking. Woody Neese also helped get the Jobs Act passed. He will be on the program and participating as well. And so, and countless, and of course, Carl, you'll be on the program with Ben Franklin. I'm excited about that. You've been working for months now on tapping into Ben Franklin's entrepreneurial genius and building AI Ben. And so you and AI Ben will be there, and that's going to be a fun conversation to have.
It is. They call it wisdom of the ages, the timeless truths. There's all these phrases that apply to Ben Franklin. He's one of the rare characters who was both an innovator and an entrepreneur and a statesman, and all wrapped in one person, who took the time to write down things that he thought would help other people, from Poor Richard's Almanac and all these other types of things. And it's interesting whenever you read someone and you can put down their writings and go, when did they write this? Because it's just as true today as it was when the words were originally spoken. And I really enjoy that. So I am much looking forward to it. We're trying to get Ben all wound up, a little more excitable for his presentation, but he'll share words of wisdom in my presentation on the 25th. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, this is going to be a fun event, and your presentation with Ben will be a real highlight of the day. But yeah, 3 days of content. It's free to watch. It'll be on SuperCrowd TV, our Roku, Amazon Fire TV device application. It's also available on E360 TV. It is also available on the web in a variety of ways and places. So it's easy to watch. But I want to invite your community to think about buying a ticket. Now, what do you get if you buy a ticket? There are 2 tiers of purchased tickets. And the first tier is the $50 executive access ticket. And that gets you into our networking. And the networking is robust. I just can't emphasize this enough. Before the event, you get access to our private LinkedIn group. You get access to our private proprietary networking platform that we've built just for this event.
Well, and then point out that it's before the event. That means it's already working today. If you bought a ticket and upgraded to one of these purchase tickets, you could be sending me or Devin an internet or whatever we call it, link, and we can be talking and going back and forth before the event ever happens.
Yeah, and that networking platform, it's a little bit like a mini Facebook, where you can post your own articles to demonstrate your expertise. Make a quick post like a tweet, right? You can post direct messages to other people in the platform. So, and I mean, the people in there include the winners of our Purpose Built 100. We'll talk about that in a minute. Plus, during the event, so all during the 3-day event, we'll be streaming from a studio like Carl and I are doing this morning. But in addition, everyone is invited to everyone who pays the executive access price will be invited to a Zoom conversation. So that will parallel. So we're calling it the executive lounge, but it's kind of, yeah, think of it as kind of the executive lounge where you can hang out at a conference, get away from the hubbub and just chit chat with your peers, right? So that's, if you've been to any high-end conferences, they have those rooms, right? And we've created
Well,
that virtually.
that's where we say that's where all the good stuff happens.
Exactly, right? That's where deals are happening, right? That's where people are, the power, it's the it's the cigar smoke filled room, right? Sort of virtually speaking. And
Well,
then,
yeah, and to that point, this is some of the advice coming out is too often we hit these conferences like they're transactional, pop in, pop out, and we miss the opportunity to what we would call create relationships, create community, and it's my goal to talk to as many people who show up in these rooms from now through the entire conference because I want to meet more people. I want to find out what they're doing, what I can do to help them. And this is the perfect opportunity. I can't be any better than this opportunity. You could go post on social media. I do it every day. But this is a chance to actually talk to somebody, to work with them. And so, yes, there is a high value to what Devin's proposing.
yeah,
And oh, by the way, the QR code in the corner of my head, that's why I switched screens with us,
yeah,
because I didn't want it over Devin's head. I'll put it over my head. But this is a QR code to go in and get free tickets or pay for upgraded tickets to this event. So welcome you to capture that, sign up today. And I think everybody who's interested in raising funding, whatever, 50,000 new businesses starting this year, they should all sign up. If you've ever raised money before, you should sign up. If you have any interest in crowdfunding or impact, you should sign up. And so that should get us to what 10 or 20 million viewers, you think,
yeah,
Devin?
right there. I think that group is tens of millions for sure, just in the United States. And the last networking piece is that every day after the end of the program, we will have a networking session. And our experiences, we've been doing this for a long time. Our experiences, these are popular sessions. Dozens of people show up and enthusiastically stick around. I can hardly get people to leave when we're done, right? And stuff happens, right? Investments get made, partnerships get made, real stuff happens. I'm always a little bit irritated, frankly, when people come back and they say, "Oh yeah, I was at your conference and I met this guy, and I've done this $1 million deal," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, and you paid $50 for the ticket. Great." I got $50. You got $1 million deal. Congratulations.
Well, this falls back into your wealth building model, which is buy
Yeah,
a new investment crowdfunding stock every month. And oh, by the way, attend SuperCrowd26.
there you go. That's right.
Buy a
And then
ticket.
for $100, you can get all of that, plus get the commemorative Purpose Built 100 book. We haven't really talked about that, but the Purpose
We're
Built
going
100. Okay,
we're,
well, anyway, you get the Purpose Built
we're
100
going to
book
lead into
with
that
that
because
Founders Circle ticket.
yeah, but no, this is one of the things that I really wanted to do this show today and bring this to people's attention. And you'll see clips from this showing up in a variety of different spots from this is being dual broadcast already on LinkedIn and YouTube, but we're going to do some Instagram posts and some other clips to try to bring this to everybody's attention. They can't attend if they don't know it exists. So the first thing we're going to do is try to be visible. And then we don't have to explain hopefully too much that the value proposition is obvious and immediate, and it's something you should be doing. Any entrepreneur, any crowdfunding investor, any angel investor, this is basically the place to be for 3 days to meet people who've been there, done that, doing it, going to do it in the future, and meet people and build those relationships, which can be of high value, more so than the investment, more so than anything else.
Yeah, yeah, it's going to be great. And uh, if I may, I'll tell people now a little bit about Purpose Built 100. Are we ready to go there?
I think we're ready to go there, Devin. So kick it off.
Yeah, so Purpose Built 100 is our ranking of the 100 fastest growing, purpose driven, mission driven, impact driven companies in America. And it is an exciting list. We have screened thousands of businesses to eliminate pretenders, slow growers, no growers, and shrinkers, and there are a lot of those. But we found, many qualified companies and have selected the 100 fastest growing impact driven businesses in America to be on the list. And it is, like I say, impressive. There's some companies you'll recognize. Warby Parker on the list. The Honest Company, what's her name's company? Jessica Alba's company, right? Is on the list. Yeah. She and I are tight.
No, she actually has a number of companies. I can't keep up with her business interest, but no, this is the thing that this is the first of kind for this event. Okay, it's never been done before. This is a classical Devin kind of a thing. Yeah, it hasn't been done before. Don't worry about it. We'll make it happen. And it's very important from a number of perspectives. A lot of people, when we talk about impact investing, they make an assumption, which is wrong, that if it's an impact business, it's never going to make a good return. It makes a poor investment almost by definition. And that also tends then to create the second myth, is that they never can get very big because they're not about making profits. So therefore they're limited somehow in their growth. And I was, again, appreciative of this new deal that you're putting together, because it points out that there are businesses of purpose, of size. They've scaled. They make good investments. They make great long-term investments. And they are creating impact in what they do, how they do it, how they breathe, how they operate all around them. And so this is both a kind of a poke in the hole of the myth that impact businesses cannot scale and cannot make money. And it's an invitation to anyone who's growing an impact business to follow the path that these companies have already made, to emulate them and to try to be as good or better in impact than they are. So this is another moment, Devin, where thank you for what you're doing.
It is exciting to see. There's some great companies on there, and companies that have used crowdfunding and have scaled really substantially. One of my favorites, and the CEO and founder will be speaking. TerraCycle, Tom Zaki, will be speaking, and this is a company. They're doing a Reg A offering right now, and so it's some of these data points are public, but they're operating at a significant scale now, and preparing. They're in the middle of a Reg A offering now. I think their plan is to do a direct listing on NASDAQ after this. So, this is a really kind of a cool deal where there is this short-term path to liquidity. Very exciting stuff for TerraCycle. And TerraCycle is like deep impact. I mean, I wish I had a deeper voice. This is, we need, I don't know. But what they're doing is they are recycling the really difficult to recycle products of the world, like cigarette butts and the um, the Taco Bell salsa packets, and stuff like this that is just really challenging, right? No one else wants to recycle this stuff, and they figured out a model for doing that makes economic sense and is removing crap tons of waste from our environment and putting it back into useful purpose. I mean, it's really an amazing business. And I saw Tom speak at a conference, I think 16 years ago. And I remember he blew the room away. And it was a room full of successful CEOs, right? And the room was blown away. And I'm telling you, he brings that energy still to this day. I'm thrilled we got him speaking at SuperCrowd, and he is one of our Purpose Built 100 winners. And it just says so much that a company with that deep impact, no messing around, deep impact, is growing and scaling and making profit. I mean, wow, that's what I
Yeah,
like.
I mean the 100 selection is its own. I don't know. Um, it's its own adventure to kind of flip the pages, so to speak, and look at all these different companies and what they've accomplished, the type of impact that they're having. I mean, this is clearly going to become a coffee table book on every entrepreneur's table, even though books are not necessarily the most recent common way of reviewing information. But I'm sure we can put it into some kind of a daily inspirational, aspirational thing that we can get off of your website.
Yeah, it's going to be great. It's going to be so excited, and I think in future years we'll make these separate events. We'll make Super Crowd, 27 will be separate from our Purpose Built 100 event next year. But we're excited about this, and really truly believe in the significance of what we're doing with the Purpose Built 100, because it proves the scale. Like Sunrun, a solar stock, is on this, a solar company is on this list. This is a company that has built golly, it's like $1.5 billion of revenue. We're talking about some scale here, people, right? That we're not just talking about do-gooders out there running mission-driven businesses. We're talking about creating real, substantial value. And I'm a little bit embarrassed in a way. I got to figure out the proper disclosure language, because I own investments in a lot of these companies that have done crowdfunding and/or are public companies that are doing good in the world, because they're great companies, and I'm excited to.
Yeah, no, a suggestion for next year's, you rent a 747, invite all the winners onto the plane and a few special guests, and
Yeah, there
pour,
we go.
copious drinks and free food, and I'll be happy to help out with that, but just keep you informed.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. We just need a sponsor. I maybe next year we'll get one, right? We just need we'll get Elon to underwrite this or something.
Well, it is one of the advantages of having companies of scale, because it's much easier for them to write it into their budget than someone who's still working out of their back pocket. So,
Yeah, that's right.
but yeah, so we have this event. It's 3 days. There's all kinds of speakers who have been there, done that, from the crowdfunding world, from the impact world, founders of businesses. Some of the Purpose Built 100 will be speaking. You're going to have a pitch competition amongst businesses that are currently doing Reg CF campaigns. And you've got your judges selected. So that's one of the things. And then despite all this great stuff that's going to be on the screen, you have the chance to buy a ticket and go in the back room, ignore all that, and just talk to people. I know that early in my career, I'd go to a conference and I think I would see maybe 10% of the presentations because I'm talking to somebody in the hallway because that's where the deals get done. And meeting people and getting introduced by other people, we just keep doing that. So I am appreciative that you put on this event and all the hard work that goes into it. And there's so much to see. The value is obvious. And even if all you do is get a free ticket, as I tried to post a couple of weeks ago, I can't get you a better price. Free is free. There's, I can't, I'm not paying you to go if but if you do go, it would make sense to consider that small dollar investment to upgrade into the very private special things going on upstairs, so to speak, in the trade show lounge room, and get to talk to people who are going to be there. Single conversation can pay back a millionfold. And so there's the risk reward profile for buying an upgraded ticket. Up here over this shoulder is the QR code. If you want to register for the event, whether it's free or a paid ticket, you can go there. You can go to SuperCrowd at their website, which is at the bottom, scrolling across the screen, and get more information about the conference, who's going to be the speakers. You can see the agenda. And it's 3 days. So even in your busy world, you should be able to pop in and out for at least a day, day and a half. Because Devin runs everything on Sacramento time, for those on the East Coast, this is after work. So it's also easy to stretch your day out and put a little extension on that.
Yeah. I mean, this is because you can watch on television. Pop a bucket of popcorn, and sit down on the sofa, get it on the big screen, and watch those evening hours on the East Coast. We'll be live on TV until 9 p.m. East Coast time.
Yeah, my presentation's in the middle of the day, so popcorn at lunchtime is perfectly fine, but maybe a hot dog and a beer will also go well. You
There
could
you go.
even potentially go into your favorite pub because it's noon and nobody's paying attention and ask them to change the channel to this broadcast and watch it in your favorite bar with your favorite beverage. We're fully open to all the creative ways in which you can participate in this conference.
Yeah, without paying us a dime, you could also organize a watch party and get that. I saw somebody driving down the road. I didn't even know they made them, but they were driving down the road. The Suburban was dwarfed by the 100-inch television on the top of the Suburban going down the road. So get your new 100-inch television, put it on the wall, have some friends over, and watch SuperCrowd for 3 days. It'll be great.
Yeah, you can also, there's places you can rent those big screen TVs just for this event. Bring all your friends over, have them
Just like
chip in,
Super Bowl.
charge a little surcharge, make a profit off the event. We're open to any kind of entrepreneurship that would work.
Yeah.
So Devin, we've talked about you, we've talked about SuperCrowd. Tell us a little bit more about SuperCrowd though, because we kind of skipped over to SuperCrowd, the event, but what is SuperCrowd? What is it? How can people participate in that? Because that's kind of your daily activities as opposed to this special event.
Yeah, we recently put together a new homepage to help people kind of understand what we do because it's kind of a lot. We do. We've got and maybe I think the tech will let me share a page. Would it be okay? Shared my screen and pulled this up.
Oh yeah, you should
Would
you
that
should
be
be able
okay
to.
with you?
Yeah, give it a try.
Let me pull this up. But what we're building a whole ecosystem here, and so we've got the events. We've been talking mostly about our events today. We have the our SuperCrowd TV. I mentioned that you can watch our events, but you can also watch our twice weekly show, Superpowers for Good. We recently launched our newsroom where you can actually read press releases that have been issued by people around the country doing good things with social impact or related to crowdfunding. So that's, and on that page, we also have Edgar Made Easy, right? You can actually go check all the filings that people have done related to regulation crowdfunding. And you say, well, that's boring. But I tell you, Edgar is almost impossible to use, and we've made it so easy to find the filings so you can actually see what people are saying. And this is an important part of due diligence, but that's a tool we've created. And we've got our speakers. You can see profiles of all the speakers who've been on our programs, and there are hundreds and hundreds who've been on our programs over the years, and some amazing, amazing people. And we'll have more amazing people this time. I've got a coaching program designed for people who are doing crowdfunding so that it's an affordable way to tap in to years of accumulated experience and wisdom in that space. We can help people do press releases with our Impact Wire service. We've got all kinds of networking going on. The Purpose Built 100 we've talked about. We've got every week we publish a list of all of the new impact investment opportunities available with Reg CF. So you can click that to get that in our newsletter. We recently launched the Impact League. We got to get you active in there, Carl. If you're making an investment every month, you got to get points for it in the Impact League. So we'll get you signed up and going in there. And we've got a due diligence tool, right? So if you are, and I mentioned this, I didn't emphasize it enough. You cannot get stock market returns if you are just randomly investing in crowdfunding deals. I'm going to just tell you that right now. Can't be done. There are too many bad ones. You have to apply serious due diligence, and this tool is a way to accelerate that process so that you are not relying on your own judgment entirely. And then finally, we've built a directory of all of the live Reg CF offerings. Every one comes attached with at least a preliminary due diligence report, and we have and for some, you can see Devin's pick of the week, and if they were a Devin's pick of the week, and get a full detailed diligence report and why I recommend investing in that deal. So, we're kind of doing a lot. So thank you very much for letting me walk people through that, Carl. It was very kind of you.
Yeah, no, this is part of the reason I wanted you on the show. You're doing so much. There's so many ways that people can benefit from your daily work, the special event, this new activity, which is the Purpose Built 100, and they can attend the event for free, or they can upgrade to buy a ticket that gets them more benefits, which probably could be some of the best money they've invested this year. So we've covered a lot of territory today. I really appreciate you being a guest on my show, Devin, and sharing all this information about what you're doing. And I invite everybody who views this live or who may be viewing this on a recording on one of the many channels on which it's going to be distributed. Check it out. Go to SuperCrowd.com, sign up for the conference, see what they're doing, and check out the Purpose Built 100. I mean, the fact that these companies are as big as they are and are doing as much good as they are is an inspiration to us all who go out there every day and try to make the world a better place. So anything else you would like to add and closing comments to the audience today, Devin?
No, Carl, thank you so much for having me. You are such a pillar in this community, not just the SuperCrowd community, but in the business community at large. You are not only a thought leader, but an action hero. And I am grateful for the role model that you are and the friend that you are, the colleague you are. You're all that in a bag of chips, my friend. Thank you very, very much. Appreciate you having me on today.
So yeah, I'm on a diet this week, so get the low fat, low salt chips when you do
There you
that.
go.
But uh, it's one of my few accomplishments this year is I've lost a few pounds, and
Good,
I'm
good, good, good.
ever so much happy about that.
Yeah, I did that last year, and then this year I've been finding them.
Yes,
It's easier
well,
to find them than lose them, my friend. Oh
the
gosh.
first rule of thumb is don't bring them in the house because
Yeah.
after that it's too late. But thank you to the audience. Just to let you know, this show is sponsored by my new company, V2R, where we're going to be introducing a number of new products and services, including Ben, the simulation of the Benjamin Franklin that you'll see at SuperCrowd26. We're going to be bringing out a new entrepreneurial intelligence system that we hope to be introducing through the month of August, and maybe even have some interesting show and tell examples by the 25th, 26th, and 27th of August. So there's more information on that. Check me out on LinkedIn, and we'll all see you hopefully next week on the Successful Funding Show.